boy. All right, well, here we are. Okay. Out walking with Yooper, and as you can see, Yooper is a Cocker Spaniel, and he is on our Alpha program. This is our day 4 of our daycare portion training of that program. And as you can see, we've got just a beautiful spring day out here in Indiana, even though it's not quite technically spring yet. Till next week, we are certainly feeling spring. Grass is greener, sky is bluer, a little breezy like it's supposed to be. And what we're doing with Yooper, oh, goes a squirrel, is we're working on that unspoken command. And the idea behind the unspoken command is that we shouldn't have to ask a dog not to pull us. Instead, right there, right before they do, we're going to proactively tug back and stop that pulling in its tracks, so to speak. So it doesn't matter if he's a little ahead for this one. It doesn't matter if he's to the right or to the left or lagging behind. As long as he's keeping a little slack in the leash at all times, he is going to be doing quite well, enjoying a walk. And we're going to do quite well enjoying a walk with him. Right there, just a tiny bit too far ahead. You're trying to proactively tug before they reach the very end. If a dog gets all the way to the end and then we start pulling back on them, it's not nearly as effective as if we can catch him just before he reaches the end and proactively tug in the opposite direction that he's going. So in this case, he's heading out in front, so I'd pull backwards. If he was going to the right, I'd pull to the left. If he's going to the left, I'd pull to the right, sort of thing. Trying to direct him back into that safe area of the leash. There we go. You see he's very responsive. A little tiny wrist tug mostly there. He looked right back at me. That's always a good sign that we're staying connected even if he is a little ahead. Just we don't want the pulling. I don't mind if you can enjoy a walk and be a dog and take in the scents and sounds and sights. That's what a walk is about. We don't have to always be in the heel command, which is really a very strict position that doesn't let either one of us enjoy ourselves too much, because it's such a important thing to keep really focused during the heel command that you really can't enjoy the sights and sounds around you. Right there, just a little wrist tug, and again, he's looked right back at me. He's starting to recognize what's going on in terms of why that tug happened. He's going to figure out in his own head that, oh, you just don't want me to get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason. And that's exactly right. Now, what's cool about that is since I'm not doing a verbal command with this, it doesn't matter that my voice doesn't sound like somebody else's voice. A dog gets to the point where whoever walks them just doesn't pull, which is nice if you want to hand the leash over to a friend or have a pet walker come someday. A dog gets really conditioned to this type of training is really good about not pulling on anybody that's walking them. Hopefully the sound quality isn't too bad, guys. It is breezy out here today, but it's beautiful otherwise. Birds are singing. Grass is turning greener. All right, so now we're just going to shift gears a tiny bit here, and I want to try to see if I can get him to do a sit command out here. So for this, of course, there is a verbal command. Yooper, sit. Nope, sit. Good. Good. Good boy. Yooper. Okay. Good. So you saw when he didn't sit, I used the word NO, and then I just kind of used a little wrist tug to, position him into the sit. So I'm trying to tug a little up and behind his head, kind of pivot his head up and his butt down, and he responded very well to that. And then there at the end, you might have noticed that I gave his name just to get him to look up at me, because what I try to do is, in the early days of training, I want them to learn that by watching me, they get the release word. So, if I don't teach a dog to look at me before I give the release word, then they may be looking at that squirrel and just waiting for that release word so that they can bolt again right back after it. If I start teaching that once you're in a command, you want to watch me for that chance to do something different, then that works out really well. There, I caught him just getting near the end of the leash again. Good boy. Good boy. But I think all in all, he's doing really very well. He's enjoying his walk. Yeah. All right, we're gonna pause here and let my shadow get out of the frame, get going a different direction, and I see another person walking their dog coming our way, so stay tuned. We're gonna try the heel command past that. Yooper, sit. Good. Look up at me. Yooper. Heel. Good. And we've got somebody just walking their dog. See how this goes. Here. Good. Good boy, Yooper. Good. Nice dog. Off leash trained. Good. Off leash is great, but I always say if your dog's not doing everything right on leash, it's not time to try off leash yet. So a young dog like Yooper and most dogs that start our training program, that's just not something I would advise as far as trying off leash control too soon. All it teaches the dog is when the leash is off, I guess I don't have to listen because you can't stop me from doing what I want. And then it makes off leash harder later on. So, all right. Well, here we have a couple of walkers without a dog. See how he does past here. We're doing that heel position on our right, no heel. This is that very strict position where he needs to stay in posture and position, focus on me every step of the way. Hi, guys. Thank you. Good. Heel. Heel. Good. Sit. Good. And now, okay. Okay means he can go back to that off-leash mode. Go back to sniffing if he wants and looking around and being out of position to some degree. It's just that never get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason thing. And for the people there, if anything, all he showed was a little curiosity, which is always good to see. That's a nice trait to see in a dog when they see other people. And it seems like most of his issue is when he sees other dogs right now. So sadly, I think we're a little early in the day to see too many walkers with other dogs right now. So we are going to go home, do a little bit more training in and around the house there. Start working on the down command, that is the lay down position, and then get back out this afternoon to a different park where I know the likelihood of seeing more dogs is going to be pretty high, especially on a really nice weather day like this. So let's do one more sit. Yooper, sit. Good boy. Good focus. Okay, good job. Awesome. So we're just gonna get back to our vehicle and get back to you in a little bit. Happy training, everyone. All right, Yooper, you ready for another walk? All right, stay tuned. Yooper, sit. Good boy. Heel. Oh, heel. Oh, heel. Good. When we talk about heel, we're really talking about a position in relationship to our body. And Yooper's being trained to heel to the right side. And what I'm looking for is for his left paw to fall in line with my right foot every step of the way. I'm not looking for him to be even a few inches too far ahead or few inches, 2 or more inches behind me when I do that. As well, heel, I'm going to ask him not to sniff the ground or get distracted really in any way. This heel command is designed to really keep him safe when you have to cross busy roads or when there's a lot of really dangerous distractions, whether that be cars or other dogs or congested alleys or aisleways in the store, all that sort of stuff. When I stop, he should sit automatically. There you go, good boy. When I lead off, I want to lead with my right foot. So if your dog heels on the right, lead with the right as you say heel. Good. Good boy. When I stop, very nice. Automatic sit. Excellent. Heel, right foot. Good. That's it. Now, unlike the unspoken command, this one has lots of rules. Like I said, don't be even a little too far ahead right there, just too far. No heel. I use the word and, tug him back toward the position he needs to be in. Repeat the command word heel. All this is kind of important to get right. So leading with the right foot and giving the right words. Heel. Good. No heel. No heel. There you go. Good. Nice. And we're going to give him a little break. Okay. So again, with the people part, he's, if anything, just a little overly curious, but certainly I don't read any negative attitude in him. In fact, it's a very open, what's your name kind of attitude that might give him a future as a therapy dog if we can continue to mold him in that direction. And if he gets past some of his little problem areas like jumping up on people when he gets too excited or being reactive to other dogs, he should at least be neutral toward other dogs. Doesn't mean that he has to play with them, but at least kind of let them do their thing. Here's another dog on that path, but I don't think we're gonna have much contact with them. Nice dog. All right. Anywhere along the line, if you just want to practice giving a couple of sit commands. Yooper, sit. Really good for his training. Nice focus. Okay, very good. We're really starting to see him watching for that release word, watching for the next command word. And again, if you just remind yourself to wait till he looks at you before you give the next word or give the next release, then that's going to help him gain that focus. This is a very kind of subtle but powerful trick to get that from a dog, and it's really just as simple as timing. They start to realize in order for anything to happen for them, they just got to keep an eye on you, and makes you kind of the pack leader and all that good stuff. Good boy. I used to see my shadow in Indiana. We've had like 3 months of gray and no shadows to be found. So I guess I'm not going to complain that we have a couple extra partners with us walking today. His shadow and mine. I'll take that with the sunlight. Back here, I know these woods very well, and there are lots of squirrels. So we'll see what kind of distraction that becomes for him. If he tries to race out to the end of the leash, then we know what to do. If I see them ahead of time, I might even try to have him heel past those distractions, and that will allow us to start to desensitize him to things that would trigger that prey drive, whether it be squirrels or rabbits or birds or kids on bikes or you name it. Dogs can get prey driven, and once they do, they quit thinking and they start running, usually toward trouble. Yooper, sit. No, sit. You see the nose working. Okay, good boy. There's a lot of squirrels back in that area there. I see them a lot this way. Actually, all through here. You never know when they'll show up. Likewise, this path is a little difficult to read in terms of seeing other people coming with dogs or sometimes joggers or bicycles. So you just have to keep your head on a swivel and try to be aware as much as you can. Best thing you can do when there's too much distraction is get him off trail, just a couple feet, put him in a sit command, and then use your body to kind of block his vision from whatever that big distraction may be. So if there were another dog coming our way and he's really triggered by that, get him off the path like this. Come here. Make him sit. Good. And then I could just block the path with my body. Good boy. Let them get past, and I might have to move as they pass and then say, okay, and we can fall in behind. And that's a real good way to do what we call counter training. And counter training is just this idea that we make a dog focus more on a command and they focus on their own instinct, and it can work really well to help desensitize the dog to triggers. Falling in behind them after they pass is a really good idea too, because that permits you to keep forcing his commands, as he continues to see them moving away from him. Again, it's just a good technique called counter training, focusing more on commands than their regular instinct. I really thought there'd be more dogs out here today. I guess maybe we're just not in the right timing window. Well, let's do this instead. Yooper, sit. Good boy. Now let's show you what happens if I lead with my left foot. So what we're training him ultimately is if I lead with my right foot, you should fall into the heel position. If I lead with my left foot, you should stay put. There you go. Good. Excellent. Now with the right foot, heel. Good boy. Good boy. This makes a dog not just listen for your commands verbally, but they really start to pay attention to you more visually. And when a dog's both listening and watching for your information, they're that much more likely to respond correctly to said information. Good boy, Yooper. Yooper, sit. Good boy. Leading with the left foot. No, sit. There, you got it. Leading with the right foot. Heel. Good boy. No, heel. Remember, heel's much more strict. Not allowed just to drift away and sniff something in the heel command. Make sure he stays with it and stays focused and correct until you stop and he sits. That's like kind of clocking out. Okay, now he can go back to being a sniffer and an explorer, at least as long as he doesn't get to the end of the leash, right? Good. A lot of people don't know that Cocker Spaniels originally were bred for the purpose of bird hunting. So a lot of them still retain a lot of those instincts. I can tell he's got a good sniffer. Nice and quiet kind of focus that he gets, just like they would have to have in a hunting scenario. Good boy. Heel. Come on, heel. And try to heel past these people. Good. Hello. Heel. No, heel. Good. Good boy. Sit. Okay. Yeah, so there again, you just saw that casual interest and curiosity. Overall, that's a great mentality to have, but the heel command's still the heel command, and he needs to know that even though they look really kind of friendly, he should stay focused and in position with me, and he'll pass that. It's one of the reasons, too, that I like training dogs to heel on the right side like we are with Yooper, because if I were having him heel on the left side, especially being new to it like he is, that's a whole lot more challenging because people tend to stay to their right. And if butterfly, don't get out of that. People tend to stay to their right just like they do when they drive. And if my dog is on the left and they're staying to the right, then of course my dog is going to be passing very close to them. If I stay to my right and they stay to their right and I keep my dog on my right, well, at least my body's between the two of them. See? So that's a little tip for some of you people if you're trying to determine which side you should train your dog to heel on, because it does matter. You can't just keep flipping back and forth. They really need to be set in one way or another, one side or the other. But yeah, real good. He's got lots of confidence. I can tell that by the way he is around the house at my house today. No qualms about having a little discussion with the other dogs about toys, and anywhere I went he had no hesitation following up and down the stairs through the different rooms. Very curious, going checking things out. So again, those are all signs of a dog that's confident and a dog that has a lot of curiosity. And I've always said that curiosity is a good sign of intelligence when it comes to dogs, and so it's kind of good to see him doing that already around the house. Go back here. Sit. Good boy. Nice little stream that we get to pass. Beautiful. Good. And okay. Good boy. All right, here comes the first bicycle we've had a chance to work past. So let's see how this goes. We're in our heel command. Now heel. Excellent. I'll sit. Finish with that sit. And okay. Yeah, that didn't bother him at all. Compared to the people walking, that was a lot easier for him, really. Yooper, sit. Good boy. Okay, we may get off the trail for this one. Come here. Okay. Yooper, sit. Good boy. No. Sit. Good. Okay. We're just gonna fall in behind for just a few steps. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about earlier when, they get triggered by that prey drive, being off the trail and ready to block with your body is helpful. And the more that he sees, the less reactive he'll be. There again, reading his attitude behind all that, I think he's still just curious. He wasn't really looking to go after that little kid. He's just looking to say hi. But yeah, I'm glad we got to do that. Yooper, sit. Sit. Good. No, sit. Trying to get him to wait. He's really good about hop, jumping in. Good job. Good job. Was that fun? Awesome. But yeah, we want to teach healthy habits, and one of those big healthy habits is making sure that a dog sits and holds a sit until you give a word. I use the word hup. So it's like up. I just add the H to it. I don't know why. You could just say up. But hup means he can stop sitting and jump right in the vehicle, and off we go. I think a healthy habit is making sure that a dog learns never to get in a vehicle without a command word, and learning never to get out of a vehicle without a command word. Really healthy stuff. All right, thanks for watching. Happy training.